Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on the time you're joining this broadcast, or probably you're live with us right now. Welcome to the Purity Journey community. It's been a 3 weeks break. I hope you used that time to catch up on our past videos and, was able to just catch up on every other thing that we're doing here at the Purity Journey community. Today, the 5th of October, we continue on questions and answers.
Evening,
Today,
everyone.
on the 5th of October, we continue on our session on question and answers, where if you are all right, I will just start all over. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to the Purity Journey community. It's been a little while since we last met, but I hope you've had an amazing time. Work is going on great. Your family is going on great. My name is Oluwatoyin Akemi, and I am so elated to welcome you here once again. Tonight, we're broadcasting from Lagos, Nigeria today. So if you're catching up later on, you are very welcome. Make sure you click on the subscribe button, and you also share this link with your friends and your family and everyone basically. Tonight, we continue with our question and answer session. We kicked that off last month at September. The last time we met was September, and we started the Q&A session where people could ask every and anything on purity and sexual purity. If you missed that session, I enjoy you to please catch up on it because it was wild, it was amazing, it was a lot of laughter, and we couldn't even end it because time was fast spent based on all the comments, the questions, and everything basically. And tonight we continue, and we definitely hope to round up. I'm sure we're going to round up tonight on the Q&A session that we kicked off about 3 weeks ago. And tonight we still have quite a number of questions listed, and it's going to be an amazing night once again. So sit tight, relax, even as we delve into tonight's Q&A. But before we start, I have a guest joining us. Before I introduce him, and before we kick off tonight, I'd just like to bring you up to date with what is happening in the community. This Saturday, for those based in Lagos, Nigeria, we're having our first physical hangout. This is the first time we'll be meeting as a community, and we are meeting here in Lagos, Nigeria. The flyer and other details will be shared during the course of this session, and you get to know how you can be a part of it. You don't have to be a member of the community for you to join the hangouts. We welcome you to please join us on Saturday. Invite your friends, invite your family. Really, we're not talking anything sexual purity. It's just an atmosphere for us to just, chill, relax, and finally put faces to all the people that you'll be speaking to, having fun with, and probably be wondering how to tell that friend about this whole purity journey and your journey so far. You just don't know, you haven't found the cool way to talk about it or how to go about it. Invite them for the hangout, and you'll be surprised how they'll pick one or two things and they themselves will be very interested. October is actually very fun and fully packed. This month as well, starting on the 22nd of October, which is the fourth Friday in October, we're starting cohort 9, and it's our last cohort for the year 2021. So if you know that person that needs to be in this cohort, or probably you want to just do like a refresher on everything sexual purity, you're very welcome to join us. The link is being displayed on the screen and in the chat box right now for you to click on the link and register. It kicks off on the 22nd of October. Registration will close on the 17th of October. So please register, share the flyer, tell somebody about the Purity Journey community. The cohort is basically where we, have deep conversations and where mind shifts happen for people, and where they are empowered to know that they can actually get on this journey. The course is really the foundation of what we do here, and it is our core. It's our primary assignment here, to teach people and empower them and let them know that sexual purity is actually very possible in our world today. While the YouTube sessions we have is an opportunity for you to, for us to talk reality, talk about the challenges that we have even as young people, probably Gen Z, probably millennials, or as a millennial millennial or wherever you fall, to know that these struggles are real. There are people like you out there, and it is attainable. And basically just sharing tips, listening to real life encounters, and just being empowered and being handheld on this journey. So please don't just, if you've not attended any of our cohorts, please don't just stay at just listening to the YouTube sessions only. Please also try to attend the cohort and invite people. They will be forever grateful for you inviting them. So let's get right into tonight. I'm sure you can see that I'm smiling so widely because tonight I can't wait for us to delve into tonight's questions. So tonight I have a member of the community, someone I respect so much, one of our, should I say, one of our ambassadors actually, who was there for it was the first cohort. It was part of the very first cohort when I didn't even know TPJ would be a thing. And it was just me and my friends deciding to, do a group study on what sexual purity truly is. And so, deciding to do a group study on what sexual purity truly is. And he was there from the very beginning. So I have Damola Bamboye joining us tonight. Damola, can you please turn on your video? I have Damola joining us tonight. And Damola and I will basically be going through the questions together and, just sharing our perspective. So one thing that we do here at TPJ is that we keep it real. We're not here to reel out textbook definitions or textbook definitions or to talk or to tell you what yes, we're going to quote the Bible, we're going to tell you what the Bible says and all of that, but basically this is also, we're going to keep it real. We're nobody, there's no one way. There's a way it works for me, there's a way to work for you, there's a way it works for Damola. The most important thing is that we are speaking the truth. The foundation is the word of God, which is what all of our conversations are based on. But we keep it very real, whereby you can ask questions and we can definitely relate to everything that we are saying. So Damola, you are very welcome. You are very welcome.
Oh, hi.
It's great to have you this evening.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining.
Thank you. It's an honor.
Yes, all right. So thank you for joining. So if you were with us last time, right, you would know that we ended on a very controversial topic. And that topic was, that one, I wonder why you're rolling your eyes. We ended on a very, very controversial topic. And that topic was, should you kiss? Is kissing allowed in a relationship? And I think we're going to take you from there. And while I already said that, there's no right or wrong answer, but there is what is the truth. And so you choose what your truth is. But one thing you can be assured of is that we will tell you what the truth is. We will tell you ways in which you can stand by this truth. But at the end of the day, the decision is yours. And so I hope that at the end of tonight, it's not about us having some legalistic conversation on what is right or what's not right, but actually, understanding what the truth is and seeking for help and grace to stand by the truth and truly honor God with our lives in everything that we do. So Damola, I'm putting you right on the spot, and I'm not going to ask you that it's kissing out loud. I'm going to ask you, tell us, you personally, tell us. So is kissing a yes or a no in a relationship?
You
can answer generally first, then answer.
Generally.
Yeah. Okay.
I think first of all, kissing is not a sin. There's nowhere in the Bible that says thou shalt not kiss, right? Like it's literally not a sin.
Okay.
But it could stimulate, sinful behavior for some people.
Stimulate what?
Sinful behavior, like it can literally lead you to get very aggressive, in quote, not violent, but get a little more physical than you probably anticipated. Maybe when you or your partner made the move, to make out or something. But personally for me, it's primarily a way I used to, or it's how I feel that intimate with you. It's like I was cracking a joke with my I was writing, I think I was just playing and writing one day, and I was asking what's the distance between friendship and romance. I literally wrote the distance between a lady's cheeks and her lips. Literally, sorry, I used to be very poetic back in the day. Like literally, I said it's the distance between her cheeks and her lips. And for me, like once, if you peck me, you could as well have given me a handshake. I probably wouldn't give a crap about what you did. But like once like a kiss is involved, for me, it's like, okay, something is going on. But I also know that for some people, it could really trigger a lot. And even me, perhaps maybe in the past, it could, I think it must have, gotten me overexcited and I had to bring myself back to my senses. But first off, it's not explicitly captured as a sin in the Bible, but I think there's some wisdom to knowing what your own boundaries are with your own partner. If your partner is easily triggered by it, you probably should, not probably, you should try to avoid it. But if you guys both understand, then you guys can go ahead and try not to do it maybe when you're alone in your apartment. I don't know, I mean, in Nigeria, some people are uncomfortable, sharing a kiss in public. Me, I don't really care. Literally, if I'm with my girlfriend or something, I'm in the public. The only two people in that place is just me and her. But I don't. But some people are very uncomfortable with it. But and you'd also know that okay, if you're probably in my apartment, probably you should try it less because once you guys have as much privacy as you want, things can go crazy and intense. Yeah, so that's my take.
All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for that, Damola. Damola has basically spoken for himself. And if I'm to summarize everything you said, first of all, there's no place in the Bible where it stated that kissing is a sin. So kissing is not an outright sin, but you should consider what works for you. Understand yourself, know what works for you, and also understand what works for your partner. There was something you said. You said if it's and so you have answered based on your experience. Based on my own experience, I know that's why they say experience is the best teacher. But most times, I'm sure there are so many things that you don't want to be the experience for others. You want to actually, learn from others and not go through the same error and all of that. So I know that we all know of different people that it was from kissing, it was nothing, and it led to other things and all of that. But this is not even talking about others now. It's talking about yourself. What works for you? 2 years before now, if you asked me, would you kiss, if I wasn't a question, whether would you kiss in your relationship or not, it was not a question, it was normal. I know that, yes, I'm not going to have sex. I know that there are boundaries, but kissing was a form of intimacy and all of that, and it was nothing. But right now, if you asked me the same question, would I kiss in a relationship? Absolute no. Why? Because I've come to understand myself better, to know that kissing is a huge trigger for me. First of all, even understanding that one of my love languages is physical touch. So I have a friend that says that from clap, they enter dance. You don't kiss and do your hands like this. You're not kissing and doing your hands.
Exactly.
You are kissing and touching and holding and fondling. And then it begins to move. Even if you start with holding his head or holding her head, the hands begin to move. And that's where the problem starts. I was reading a book recently, and the author said it was a devotional about sexual purity. And the author said, I don't know anybody who kissed today and then said afterwards that, next week when I'm kissing, I'm going to stand an inch away. It's usually that you are doing more and more. And that was exactly what happened to me in my experience. Today, it was that, kissing, it was normal, nothing happened today. And then so what I noticed is that you're exploring more and more and more and more and more till things started going out of hands, that I wasn't happy about the things I was doing after doing the things I was doing. I remember that we've already established that sexual purity is not about having sex. It's not just about having sex. Or it's not just about being a virgin and all of that. There are other things to it. So I started to do things that I wasn't happy about, things I wasn't pleased about. And thinking about it, where did it start from? What was the origination? What was the origination? It was kissing. So I'm like, you know what? I don't want to get into any more trouble and everything. Kissing is now a no-no because I can't see, you might be able to trust yourself. This is me putting it out there. Me, I cannot trust myself when it comes to kissing because physical touch is a major thing for me. So, I know on this journey, one thing we always say is know your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you on the purity journey? Why are you deciding to wait until marriage? Why have you decided, to even be involved? Why are you in this community? If you're not in the community, why have you decided to do what you're doing in the first place? Because if you don't have solid answers to your why, you'll find yourself in arguments with, it's okay to kiss today, it's not okay to kiss tomorrow and everything. So if your why is to honor God, if your why is to please God, so how did I get into all that kissing and becoming Dora the Explorer and all of that before realizing that no, because at the end of it, I saw that it was dragging me, taking me away from what was my why, which is I'm doing this to honor God. Because I could be doing it with my fiance, even though, yes, we're not yet married and everything, but I could be doing it with my fiance, I could be doing it, which is usually the justification for a lot of us. I'm not going about kissing random people on the road. I'm kissing my partner. We are engaged. We've done introduction. We've done court. Are you husband and wife? That's the end. I saw something on Instagram recently, which is, are you allowed to have sex if you've done your civil, but you've not yet done your white? And it was on Twitter, and people were arguing about it. Oh, church is just a ceremony. Oh, civil is husband and wife. Honestly, what works for you? What really works for you? So if your why is truly to honor God, which is why you're on this journey, you want to really think about this. So what are your triggers? And we spent a good time talking about triggers a few weeks ago. So I encourage you to please check our YouTube channel where we spoke about triggers. These are little things that lead to that. So while it might look like, oh, you guys are saying kissing is not allowed, it's not really about the kissing, it's about the other things. The kissing is the first step of the very long journey to where you are going to where things are going to go wrong. So why don't you nip it by the bud? Which is why they say when you're dealing with an issue, you don't touch the fruits, you go to the roots. And so that is why my personal recommendation is take kissing out of the table, take out all those things that will make you get off the track and do things that will help you stay on track and all of that. So I guess we finally answered this kissing question. I know that first of all, plenty people are not happy with this. Plenty people are not happy with this at all, because I know that the last time some people were saying that, oh, you are not even happy with it. Oh my God. That's amazing. So I think this just shows how...
looking back, I see the logic in it. Because even myself, like, I literally lost control, but I had to find myself, like, literally, like, in the moment, like, get myself back. Like, I'm like, you're really messing up here. Right. So I think I may have to review some of my positions personally. It's what it is.
So you get it. So I think sometimes when you properly think through the process, right? And that's really you taking yourself serious. It's not that, because let me just tell you, you're serious when you find out that things are happening and you don't care to find out the roots. So, there's this proverb that says that you can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So you cannot be kissing, you cannot be doing vacation, you cannot be doing sleepover and saying that, oh, I'm always tripping, I'm always this and everything. Uncle, auntie, get on track, help yourself. Is it easy? No. Is it attainable? Yes. Is it possible? Yes. So yes, this is a no judgment zone, but it's just about us being real with ourselves.
Just what it is.
Let me just tell you one truth. Even in our leadership group, there are people that still argue. They will give you 5-point agenda on why kissing is okay. So I know that this is not an easy topic at all. I know that it's not an easy pill to swallow, but please think about it and remember your why. And some people will tell you that I can kiss and nothing will happen. So be it. Enjoy, have fun. But this is just what we have to say about that. Okay, thanks a lot for that, Damola. Let's move on to the next question, which says, is there anything wrong? Okay, let me start from this. Issues bordering on sexual expectations. Won't it be a bit of a touchy subject to discuss during courtship? So this person is basically saying that because during courtship, we've decided to, abstain, honor God with our bodies and not have sex and all of that. But we need to discuss sexual expectations. So how do we discuss sexual expectations? Should we even be discussing sexual expectations? Is it not a touchy conversation that might actually lead you to the things that you don't want to do? So would you say do not discuss sexual expectations at all, or should it be discussed? And if you say it should be discussed, how should it be discussed in such a way that it's within it's safe and it doesn't lead to other things?
Okay. First off, I think it has to be discussed. I've consumed quite a bit of literature and videos on marriage, and I think I think I can. It stands to reason to say that sex is one of the top 5 reasons why marriages have problems, right? And yeah, and I don't think it's a small subject, especially perhaps for Christians that maybe they abstained, they're now looking forward to it, and the guy or the babe is not, making the person happy enough. So I think it's a conversation that must be had, right? You can just talk about it and say, guys, we're adults here. I have been fascinated by this thing. I've been fantasizing about this thing. I hope this is something you're comfortable with, like when we get married. Of course, you guys be dating for something serious. I feel like it's a very important conversation you guys should have during courtship, because when you get married, you will definitely have sex. And if you're not ready, and some other arguments will come, like when Adam and Eve, met, there were no conversations around it, right? There were no conversations around it. They just figured themselves out. They explored their bodies together and they figured themselves out over time. But I would still suggest, like, I mean, people have had different mental stimulations from different things, good and bad, right? And those things have created expectations in their minds already. So it's important that you have that conversation. Literally important. You don't want something as sacred as that to be a problem, and you now find either of the parties very touchy at work, and some other devil, I must say devil, some other person that seems to have figured out exactly what the person wants now comes and starts to confuse the person's head. And I mean, at primal levels, you will respond if you're not being satisfied. If you're how I heard someone say, if you have enough water to drink, the tap outside won't attract you.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know how it's said in relationship circles, but literally, if you're satisfied at home, you probably will have less, like, all the other distractions outside. Like, man, I'm not interested. I'm already satisfied at home. That's what I think.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Damola. Yeah, I totally agree with you. While I understand your reservations as regards why you probably don't want to delve into that topic, it's quite an important topic. Like Damola said, sex, finance are the two major things, the two major leading cause for divorce in today's world. So you actually want to just talk about it, but then draw the question on the things you shouldn't talk about. Probably the day you want to talk about it, don't talk about it in your church auditorium. Actually, that was a joke. But basically, have these conversations. Be sincere. That's one thing I found in this journey of purity. Be very sincere. You know when you want to do bad stuff, or when in your mind you're itching for bad stuff and everything. At least me, I know personally. And also, what you want to do is have the conversation, but understand why you're having this conversation. We're trying to understand ourselves better. And so this is not in being practical. You probably don't want to go into, so which position exactly do you like? And everything. So how do you like it, as in, and all of that? You probably don't want to go into all of, well, you can talk about what position you like, but you want to really cut it at the very, you want to nip it at the board and everything, and just really understand one another's sexual preferences, which is the reason for the conversation. And then one thing I've also found out in marriage counseling that my friends have said to me is that they have marriage counselors who, they are marriage counselors who, so first of all, there are people who really don't say, they say as a wife, please your husband and everything, and it's not really good enough. But there are people who go into specific detail of how to go about it. So what they do is during their marriage counseling and all of that, they don't say much to them. But what they do then say is that 3 days to your wedding or a week to their wedding, they then have, sometimes I also hear things like 2 days to their wedding, they have deep, serious conversations with them on the things they ought to know and do. So that, I think that's also okay. That's something that can be done. Yeah. So thanks a lot. We need to move.
I mean, if I can also chip in, Toyin, if you don't
yes.
mind. So
Yeah.
one thing again with having the conversation early on is it gets to uncover things between partners, and this is something that shouldn't be taken lightly. A couple of people have things they want to tell their partners, but they don't know how to say because they feel, this is a relationship where we're protecting everything, and the conversation of sex should not even come into place in the beginning.
Mm.
But having that conversation actually gives the difference between knowing what your partner has even been through at some point, if there's history or any of those forms of things, or if your partner has fears or certain ailments that they feel might affect them sexually. This is when you can actually tackle those things, not when you get into marriage and then you're talking about it and your partner tells you, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be a bit graphic. Oh, I don't like shaving, for instance, or I don't like to keep myself clean down there or something. No, these are actually things that have scattered marriage relationships just because one partner had certain expectations and then they got into the relationship and found out that the expectations they had was even totally different from what they came to meet in those relationships. So I think even marriage coaches these days will tell you it's a conversation you should have. If you feel when you have that conversation, it's going to trigger something, have it in the presence of your counselor, have it in a place where you know that won't trigger anything or where you can be supervised. But make sure you have the conversation so you can uncover things. It's through these conversations, partners have uncovered that their spouses had been raped or sexually molested at some point in time, and they had lost maybe their wombs or something, which if they didn't have the conversation, they probably would have headed into the relationship with an assumption and then started, I don't know, praying and fasting about something that had been damaged a long time ago.
Yes. I thank you very much for your contribution, Oluwatoyin. I totally agree with that. It's a conversation you want to delve into. Sex is very important. Like after waiting, hey, please, I beg you, let's talk about this thing. It's very serious. There's a reason why we are waiting. It's not to do while they're married. So please, let's talk about this thing. So I'll move on to the next question, which is, okay, this person says, how is there anything wrong with laying all your cards on the table when it comes to a new potential partner? Letting him know you are dating for marriage, letting him know past things about you that are not so pretty. So this is obviously a woman asking this question, and she's asking, is it okay to lay all your cards on the table with a new potential partner? I think this question even goes both ways. Guys want to know this as well. Is it okay to lay everything on the table? Damola, what do you say about this? Maybe we should talk from the guy perspective and I would answer from the lady's perspective. So yeah. And if you had any personal experience on this, that would be great as well if you can share.
Okay, so this is what I think, right? First off, the person you're going to get married to, I keep saying this, maybe I sound like a broken record now. The average person is going to get married anywhere, say between 25 to 30 years of age. And you're going to live with this person, say from, say maybe 50 to 60, 65 years together with this person, right? I'm just, estimating. The first 20 years of your life will probably be more, you guys will be more into each other than and with your kids and all. If there's something that I am going to have to deal with in the next 60 years of my life with you, if there's something on the table that I need to take into consideration, I think we need to have that conversation. We need to have that. We totally need to have that conversation. And if there's an expectation, which is me laying my card, I need to have it with you, right? I heard someone say this, and I think there's some wisdom to it. And it was like, at dating and courting stage, it's almost a selfish act because once you are married, it's absolutely selfless. Or like I think this Pastor Laju would say, you are dating, you date intelligently, and when you're married, you marry or you love blindly. I hope I got it right. Pastor Laju Iren. I feel like at that stage, you guys are literally, negotiating the deal you guys will live with for the next X number of your lives, God, God willing. So please have all the conversations. If you have an expectation, lay it on the table. And you guys, you guys, you guys want to also, you guys just want to make sure that there'll be as little surprises as possible. I mean, there'll be surprises when you get married to the person. Even the person doesn't fully know what the person wants, right? But at least as many conversations that can be had have been already had. And please, if you're dating, just let the person know, okay, I'm dating for marriage. You're not in secondary school. Secondary school, and you're not in university. I think university love is still very unserious. But if you are dating someone, especially after school, I mean, take it seriously. Maybe if you are dating a guy after school, I don't know how guys after school would date for marriage. I don't know how that works. Like immediately after school, you want to date for marriage. I don't know how that works unless you're earning, gazillion million or something. But like, if you are dating, like, guy, take it seriously. If you're not going to date this girl, if you don't want to marry, if you're looking for a companion, and you guys know that, okay, there'll be these boundaries, so you tell us, babes, I'm really looking for a good companion now. I can't marry now. My salary can handle Lagos operational cost of being a married man. This is what's going on. But I would rather you date towards marriage. And if maybe you start early, you can give yourself 2, 3, 4 years to get yourself together and get married.
Thanks a lot for that, Damola. I agree with you. I also think that there are 2 dimensions to this question. So I totally agree. No surprises. I'm spending the rest. I'm definitely going to be spending more years married to you than when I lived single. God,
exactly.
God tiring, God willing, right? So we cannot be dealing with surprises. But I think the question at the table then is when exactly is safe enough to talk about these things. So definitely, if it's a first date and all of that, there's a limit to things that you want to share, because this is probably a stranger or probably a friend, but you guys are now deciding to step up into another dimension of your relationship. And so it's kind of like the new scene. So you actually even want to be very clear, where is this going to? So I guess that's the other twist to this question. How soon is too early to speak about these things when it's a new partner and all of that? But at the same time, I've also met someone, a friend, who has said that she had chopped enough breakfast. She had been heartbroken so many times that, in fact, what happened was she met her husband, I think 3 weeks after she had just gotten heartbroken. Of course, she didn't know it was her husband. He was interested in her. They had a date. And she went to that date just laying everything on the table. See, so somebody had rejected her based on the fact that I think she's from a broken home or something. So when she met this new guy who was interested in that, she like, see, I don't have time to waste. This is this and that about my family. These are these things you need to know and all of that. Are you interested or not? Let's know what we are doing here. So it works for some people like that way and all of that. While some people be like, hey, take it easy, please. So I think that now boils down to clarity into why are you even talking to her? Because a guy that, so of course they are married now. They've been married for some years now. They have kids and all of that. Why didn't you run away? Why didn't you think, okay, this lady has baggages, let me just run away or something? He knew what he wanted. He saw beyond the challenges. He saw beyond the problem or whatever it is that she put on the table and at that moment. And he wanted more than that. And I guess that's exactly what Damola is saying here in terms of, especially as a guy, know what you want while you're approaching this lady. Guys, please don't be time wasters. As in, stop being, actually Christian brothers, please stop being time wasters. Know exactly why you're speaking to this lady. Why are you speaking to this person? And by the way, it's not only men that are time wasters. Women are also time wasters. Like recently, just this weekend, I heard of a story of someone they have been dating and all of that. And then the guy begins to talk about marriage. And she's like, no, sorry, I can't marry you. Hello, what have you guys been doing for the last 2 years? And all of that. So please, both male and female, I beg you, don't be time wasters. Stop wasting people's time and destiny. That's very, very unkind. It's very, very unkind and everything. And there's also the school of thought about when, because the question is in two parts. The first one being that Should you lay all your cards on the table? We're definitely saying yes, lay your cards on the table, but please be sensitive and be wise as to when to lay your cards on the table. Don't lay your cards on the table in such a way that it's even a security risk for you or anything like that. Be wise. Let the Holy Spirit guide you. In this life, I know it might sound cliche, but it is not cliche at all. It is the truth. You can't do anything without the Holy Spirit. And I've heard a lot of pastors say that a lot of young people don't want to marry, and I'm saying, oh God, is she the one? Is she not the one? You've not been trying to hear God all along, but now they're ready to marry. You want to now start hearing God's voice for the first time and everything. It doesn't work that way. Being in a relationship, hearing from God requires relationship, requires intimacy. The same way you've built intimacy with the person you want to marry, and you know that, yes, I want to spend the rest of my life with this person. It's the same way you have to put in work in developing intimacy with God, in developing intimacy with the Holy Spirit. But that's another conversation for another day. But what I'm trying to say here is that be wise. If you're not sure, ask questions. Be wise, let the Holy Spirit guide you when you want to say certain things, and just like you're very sure. There are people who have had kids before. There are people who have had abortions. You should definitely talk about things like that before you get married or before you get engaged. It's not when you are proposed and giving you a ring, or when you've given her a ring and she has said yes to marry, and I say, oh, sorry, I have a child outside. That's actually deceit. That's not being wise at all. So please, let's balance these things. And most importantly, I think we should be fair in, looking at this other person as a human being that God loves, as a human being that, deserves to know the truth and, share. So the second part of the question is now, how do I clearly state from the beginning that I'm dating for marriage? I know this might sound quite strict and quite like, calm down, everything, but it's honestly the truth. Yes, I know that initially. Sorry,
I was thinking out loud. But what I meant to say was, like, I was thinking out loud, but just say it. Like, literally, I'm not here to mess around.
Like, let's be very clear. If anybody sees you as desperate, exactly, we are adults. And that's why Damila said, except you're in secondary school. But there are even people who met in secondary school and at 16, 17, have you heard of high school love, college love? And they are married today. Yes, you definitely might not have known what you were saying when you're in secondary school and you're 16 or 17. But not at this point, right? Please say it. If the person thinks you are desperate, please let he or she carry the dictionary and desperation and everything. Let him go and find somebody that is not desperate. It's not desperate. It is what it is. In fact, when you say things like that, you are chasing away time wasters. Of course, are there ways you can say these things that make you come across as a desperado? Yes, there are ways. So personally now, I would not meet a guy or go on a first date right now and the first time say, see, guy, me, I'm dating for marriage. Of course, it doesn't work that way. Wisdom, it goes back to wisdom. So, dating, you are talking and all of that. The person is showing interest. The person is saying, so this is me talking from a lady's perspective now. The person is showing interest. The person is saying this thing. In fact, probably he hasn't even defined it. And sorry, that's all those time waster syndromes where there are some guys, you need to push them and say, uncle, please, can you define this thing that is happening? You cannot be calling me every day. You cannot be speaking 3 to 5 hours every day and we are friends. No, I don't speak to all my friends 3 to 5 hours every day. I don't speak to all my friends every day. My friends don't buy me things every day. So let's be very clear what we are doing here. And you are asking him, let's define. And some speak when you then say, let's define and all of that. But obviously, you can see that it seems like this thing is tending towards somewhere. And you think you want to have a conversation, sweetheart, please have the conversation. What exactly are we doing? You might not even have to use that word, I am dating for marriage. Yes, there are some men that will run away run away from that word marriage and everything. Some people feel like this babe is too forward and everything. That's why I said let the Holy Spirit lead you. And there are some people that the Holy Spirit will make you say it because they are time wasters. So as you said it, the Holy Spirit will help you chase them away from your to stop blocking your network and all of that. So basically, you are just having conversations and all of that. And honestly, initially, before I felt I needed to say it to people, but now that I am serious-minded, I mean, so I'm serious. It's not and this is not, this is not trying to, blow my trumpet or something, but time wasters cannot come to me. I'm too serious-minded for a time waster to even see me. You will not see me. Your eyes will be blinded. That's just the truth. And if for any reason you now find me or something, I have the Holy Spirit in me that guides me and tells me that this guy, there's something else to you. Do you understand? So I guess it's also you opening yourself up, right? There are some of us that we are doing secret calls in the name of the people that we are talking to. We are talking to, say, guys talking to you and everything. None of your friends, your best friend doesn't know anything like that. Well, sometimes you're already in love. You're like, oh, I like this guy, it's CDH and everything. But they can help you gauge this thing and guide this thing and everything, like, okay, what's happening here and all of that. But why I went to this serious-minded thing is that most times we make a list of all the things that we want, the kind of people that we want, but we hardly look inward. Are you serious-minded? You want the guy to come and you want to be able to clearly state that, see, I'm dating for marriage. Let's be serious. Are you dating for marriage? There are some guys that come our way and it's the truth. I meet a lot of them. The guy is serious-minded. He wants to marry me, but I know that this is not my husband. I know that this is not who I think is my husband. But guess what, as ladies, what do? We continue to spend time. We are enjoying the attention. We're enjoying the time. We're enjoying the money in some cases as well, and all of that. You are being a time waster. You are being an unserious person yourself. You know that this guy doesn't fit into the picture of what you want when you explained, when you said to yourself, these are the qualities I have I want in my husband, or even in places whereby God has specifically told you this is not your husband or your wife, or in cases whereby you've prayed about it and probably there's been silence, you feel like you're not here, but you feel this uncertainty. But I beg, the guy is fine, he has money, and this is not even me trying to be materialistic. Money is good. Me, I love money. What's it called? Or how do you say it? I like money. I love Jesus. Yes. So I like money. I like money, but I love Jesus. So I'm not going to tell you that no, you shouldn't have money. Please, you should have money. My name is Toyin Billions. I don't say it as a joke. I know where I'm going to. Let's be very focused. So you know all these things already, but you're enjoying the attention. You are enjoying the care, and you continue to allow this guy pour in all of that, invest and all of that. Then you now say that I'm looking for someone that is dating, that wants to date for marriage and all of that. Guys, let's be serious here. And this is me even addressing the ladies. Most times, we shout, guys, you're bad demons and everything. But we ladies, we get for hand. There's what we are doing that is not okay at all. Damola can try to address the guys if he wants to address them and everything, but this is honest conversation because it's hard, and I've been here before. It's really, really hard sometimes to walk away from what really looks good, and that's why you need to know who you are and what you want. And we've discussed this before. In knowing who you are and what you want, in choosing a life partner, not every friend is your husband. There are some people, they are good for you. People, everybody says, oh, why you guys not dating? Why you guys not dating and everything? But you know that this is not it. You know, probably you've even prayed, God has told you this is not it and all of that. Please walk away. It hurts. I know that. But you know what I always say to myself to console myself about things like this? When I meet a very nice person, someone that I like, but I feel like I'm not getting inquiry from God, it just tells me that, first of all, God is my father. I can never want more good for myself than God wants for me. It's impossible. My parents cannot want more good for me than God wants for me. So let's be very clear about that. You need to get to that point to know that God always has your best interest at heart at every point in time. That's number one. Number two is the fact that if this guy, TDH, is 6 feet, his hands, he's dark, he's got the bar, and then God is not giving me a go ahead. Please, you guys don't know who my husband is. You are not ready for him. You need to wear your shades when my husband arrives, because that just tells me that if I feel this is so good and God is telling me no, do you have an idea of what he has in store for me? No. If they need to give birth to him yesterday and God make him grow up, he's okay. He's a miracle working God. But that's the point you need to get in your relationship with God, whereby you know who you are, you know what you are doing, and you are very clear on the basis or premise in which you are choosing a life partner. So that's why I said, are you serious-minded yourself? It's not always, how do I let people know that I'm dating for marriage and everything? Have you cleared all these things in your mind and you're very serious-minded? If that is it, and like I said our last session, God never gives, he doesn't give irresponsible sons to his responsible daughters. And he does not give irresponsible daughters to responsible sons. No, God doesn't do that. So you yourself, do things right, be okay, know what you want, and all of that. I have a friend, he once said to me, he met this babe, that her backside there, her backside was so massive and everything that even he knew that he said was 20. Do you know what my friend did? My friend is going to tell his guy friend, he said, if I should ever come back to you guys and tell you that I want to date this girl, I want to marry this girl, you people know that is Yash I follow though. I'm really sorry for that. term I used, but know that it is bomb that I followed though. He knows that there's nothing else I'm seeing here than bomb. That's how to be serious-minded and be real with yourself. He's the one who went to go and report himself to them and say, if I ever follow this babe or come back and say, I want to date this babe or I want to marry this girl, just know that I did not see any other thing. It's bomb I followed. So guys, I believe that we really dealt with this question. I just saw something in the comment section. Someone asked me if I'm married. I'm not married. I'm happily single. The one is coming. I know he'll come at the right time. Yes. Okay. So let me read some comments from the comment section before. And I really do apologize for using the word yash. That sounds so uncultured. I apologize for that, but I hope you get the point. So let me read some comments. Someone said, God does not give. Oh, okay, you're reiterating what I said. Okay. All right. I think, can you further all right. I guess people are just having a great time in the comment section. So let's just go on. Yes. So the next question says, how do I know when your gender, obviously this is a guy speaking. How do I know when your gender is experiencing mood swings without saying it? And is it the guy always wants to there for his girlfriend? I'll answer the second part. You answer the first part. Damola, how do I know when our gender is experiencing mood swings without saying it?
I think you just see the mood swings and just calm down first. Don't take it personal.
You think what?
I think in my experience, I think you would observe when somebody has mood swings. And first, try not to take it personal. Even if you are pissed off, right? Try not to take it personal. And when the person calms down, you can have a conversation with the person. But if the person always has a bad mood, the person has a problem. Literally, the person always has a bad mood. The person probably needs to see a therapist or something. And that's not disrespectful. Even me, I'm seeing a therapist right now. Literally, I'm seeing a therapist right now. It costs money, but it's worth it. But like, I also, I think in the past year, I read up and I've had conversation around this thing. And I learned from conversation with ladies and from things I've read, being a woman is not funny. And when they get into that season, is it a few days or something? It's like your body punishing you for not having sex, literally. So if they have mood swings, it's because there are biological reasons, that get them triggered and all. So you can respect it, be as supportive in that period as you possibly can. Just take it to the chin, take it like a man.
Yeah.
Tell your guys, but like it's just what it is. It's just what it is.
Damola, you've actually been very kind. I'm trying to imagine if it was Tony that was answering that question. You've actually been very kind in answering that at all. Yes, you're right about that. There are reasons. There's actually
if you want me to chip in, I can chip in.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
No.
But really, biologically, there's something actually called PCOS. No, am I mixing? There's something called PMS, right? And it's premenstrual syndrome, which happens to most ladies. So when I say most ladies, it happens to all of us. Some months is very strong. It's very tight to your menstrual cycle. Some months is very strong. Some months you don't even feel it at all. And it's literally the fact that you don't have a control over your emotions and all of that. This minute you're crying, next minute you're very angry, next minute, and a whole lot of that is happening. And usually, even recently I saw someone who is married post it on Instagram. She was like, my husband suffered in the last 2 days, all the things I did to him and everything. So sometimes, like recently when it happened to me, I was like, I felt depressed. I was just crying. Why was I crying? Later, I just realized that I know what it is. Devil like shifts and everything. So yes, it does mess up your emotions. But like Damola said, we are constantly in a bad mood. This is not PMS. There's something wrong with you. You need to see a therapist. And we need to normalize these things because quite a number of people have been through trauma. They've been through different things that you are probably not even aware of how much it has affected you, right? And you just behave in a certain way that is just, absurd. And so when I say absurd, it doesn't mean that you are talking without reasoning and people are wondering, is this person mentally all right? No. you are, as in you yourself, you would know maybe you're not constantly happy and all of that. So if you need to see a therapist, or if you need to see a counselor, a professional counselor, please do that. And sometimes, just journaling and expressing yourself, how you feel part-time, helps a whole lot. If you can afford seeing a therapist, please do that. But don't have the money and say that it's people that are depressed or have mental issues that see therapists. That's a very, very African way to think. Please, let's normalize things. And of course, there's a line between where the therapist stops and the Holy Spirit takes in and all of that. There's a difference between us as believers and those who are not believers, and everything lies and ends with what their therapist says and what their therapist says and all of that. The second thing is, please, if you're always having mood swings and you cannot communicate to your guy, madam, please, this is me just saying it because it's actually not nice. Men are not mind readers. So don't put them through. Say something is wrong. And I know we can do it. Something wrong with you, no. Then the guy goes about his life, no, like you don't even care. You didn't see anything. Yes, guys, I want you to be extra emotionally intelligent. We need you to be extra sensitive and all of that. But women, please, let's take a chill pill in this area. Sometimes we think like fighting is how we get your attention and all of that. But they're not mind readers. If you're upset about something, please communicate. That's what adults do. It is children that throw tantrums. And please don't let them equate us women as children who throw tantrums. If there's an issue, communicate it. Find out how...
Sense no they finish for woman matter.
So find out how best you communicate. Probably when you're upset is not the right time for you to speak. Probably you're the type that I want to write down everything afterwards and say to you, or send an email, whatever works for you. It's all part of self-discovery. But don't lock up and be upset and expect your man to understand what is going on, or even your friends, your female friends or your male friends and everything. Please don't do that. Just don't do that. So please, women, let's do the right thing. Don't let them tag us wrongly that we just throw tantrums here and there. So okay, the question also says, and is it bad if a guy always wants to be there for his girlfriend? I would like to answer this as a woman, obviously. The typical man is a fixer. He wants to fix things. He wants to solve problems. But most times, this one, you need the Holy Spirit, because I don't know how to tell you how to know the difference. But what I found out is the fact that it's not every time she's telling you that she has a problem or a challenge that she's expecting you to fix it. It actually becomes annoying after a while. Sometimes we just need you to listen. I can fix it, but I need you to listen and empathize with me. That's what I need. I don't need you to try to fix it. Sometimes if you're unsure and you're unclear, ask after listening, but listen first. Listen first. After listening, then ask, where can I come in to fix this? Sometimes we already have it figured out. But you don't know how important it is to us at that moment, that while I know the solution and how to fix this, what is most important is coming to tell you about this thing that didn't work, this thing that upset me, this thing that set me in a bad mood, and all of that. So when I come to you to do that, and all you want to do is, you're not listening, you're not allowing me to speak, and all you want to do is just try to solve my problems, you're going to get an attitude. And the guys will now feel bad and say, but I'm only trying to help and everything. And then that's why they say women are difficult. But no, it's understanding how we all function. Women are emotional, men are logical. I'm telling you about a problem. Of course, this does not mean I'm calling you that my car just stopped working on Third Mainland Bridge and you're not asking me, where do I come in here? It's not the same thing. You have to fly down here right now and sort this out. Do you understand? That's totally different. I'm telling you that I have a flat tire, or I don't know how to change my gas, and you're asking me how can I come in here? You better be here already and everything, right? So that's totally different. Sometimes we just need you to empathize, be emotionally intelligent, be sensitive. Even when it's I'm coming to report, because sometimes we don't even need to take any action. I just need to listen. I'm coming to report my friend to you. Just listen. And please, one thing I know I personally, as Oluwatoyin, appreciate with men is I like men that, not even men, human beings, both male and female, that despite the fact that I've come to tell you and rant to you about this person has done and everything, listen, empathize, understand. What if I am wrong? You've picked that I'm wrong for the things I've said, right? After listening and empathizing, point out how you think, oh, Olatonya, I think you could have done it better this way or this way, or probably this is where that person is coming from. Please don't be a yes man. Or, oh, yes, that your friend. She's badly behaved. That's how she behaves all the time. You're not helping that person. And when the person finally realizes that this person just says yes to everything, they will stop talking to you or probably not like you. I don't even like people like that because you are helping me not to become a better person. So please still stand for the truth. Probably that's not even the right time. Maybe another time, like, okay, babe, actually, this thing, I think it was you that was at fault and this and all of that. It's called empathizing. So maybe that's one thing you men don't do enough. You just want to fix the problem. I'm not a problem. Stop trying to fix me. We're not problem. Stop trying to fix us. Empathize. We need to empathize and be emotionally intelligent. Thank you very much. Yeah. So, yes. So I'll take 2 questions now so we can keep it moving and all. So someone says, are there prayers I need to make or pray to be able to live a sexually pure life? Is prayer all I need? Then the second question says, is faith, okay, so they're actually kind of together. Is faith all I need to live a sexually pure life? Or can I attain it by self-discipline and determination? So one is asking about prayer. Is prayer all I need to be able to live a sexually pure life? The second one is faith all I need to live a sexually pure life, or can I attain it by self-discipline and determination? Damola, please go ahead.
Okay, so this is how you look at it. Prayer is necessary, right? I can tell you something for free. If you're a Christian and you don't spend time praying, you will misbehave. You will just catch yourself misbehaving. You know the right thing to do, but because you, the spirit, you are not charged enough, your body and your flesh, the operating system, your body and every other thing works with, they will just overwhelm you and you'll misbehave. But it's certainly not everything. You find very prayerful people that make, mistakes around this sexual purity journey. I would say that there are many wisdoms that you can put in play, and there are many structures. Structures like a lot of things that we're going to discuss during the next cohort. There are many structures. Like, you'll be shocked that the things that help us get better are built far more around structures than around just things that you know to do. You'll be shocked, for instance, if you go to a city where you know absolutely nobody and you make brand new friends that don't share in your faith. That would be a very good place to really test whether prayer alone can get the job done. Do I go for the next one around?
Yeah, please kindly go ahead.
So I don't believe faith is all you need, but it's a pillar, and this is where I'll go. I think I was just with Tony about this, and I said that I believe that there are many people that are not Christians. They've never known Christ. They've been born, they've been married, they've had kids, they've had grandkids, and they've died. They did not sleep with anyone before marriage. And when they got married, they didn't sleep with any other person except their wives, right? I'm not saying that, that there's morality can be achieved outside God. Morality, the concept of morality, we have a moral compass that God already installed in us. So generally, even a child will know when he does something wrong, right? But I'm just saying that it's not an accurate statement to say faith is all you need, right? But faith is a powerful pillar for it. Like, it's extra powerful. And that's faith in what God has done in you, and that grace, that enablement to live the right life. It's literally in you as a Christian. Now, whether you use it or not, whether you exercise it or not, that is a different conversation. Now, for people that maybe have struggled with sexual sins before, I have struggled with sexual sins. I remember a conversation I had with Tony maybe 10 years ago. I think in chaplaincy office. So I'm not sure you remember. I was literally telling us some things I struggled with. And I still struggled with them after school, right? She probably will remember. That was like 2009 or 10, I can't remember. But I'm just saying that once you know who you are in Christ Jesus, what he has invested in you. I've heard the Pastor Aaron say that our born again experience is a miracle of changed desires. those desires will change over time. If you're, for instance, if you're on this, listening to this stuff and you have been addicted to any bad stuff, to be honest, if you put all those, all those things on the side, measures on the side, it probably will work, right? But there's this faith to say, you know what, I am struggling with this now. And this is not giving you a license to misbehave. I'm struggling with this now, right? So with my mind, I worship God, even if with my body I'm struggling, right? You just keep inundating yourself with God's word and you say, you know what, by faith, I am able to do this. Yeah, and this is actual serious stuff. You are pouring something into your soul and, pouring something else out. And you just go at it consistently for a good period of time. This thing is time and consistency for some people. You will see that if this thing will become second nature to you, it will literally become your primary nature. It will take over you. It literally will take over you. In fact, that is your actual default CARICOM. When you say an app comes with a phone, that's like your default nature in Christ. But you are literally just building it out, perhaps because maybe the moral framework for it was lost somewhere and you got addicted to something. Yeah. So that's the way I'll look at it. So it's a matter of time and consistency building. So that faith is the runway that you can get the job done. Literally, it's like
I like that.
You can get the job done.
Yeah, you know the image that came to my mind as we were speaking. Those I don't know if you played that. I have just brothers, so they on PlayStation. I can't remember. This was growing up, either 1 or 2 or 3. And there's this Need for Speed they used to play, and then I enjoyed cars. That was the only thing I could play with them. I couldn't play FIFA or esports. But for Need for Speed, I really liked that. And I remember that sometimes when you are racing, there's a certain power button there's a certain button you can play. Click on that gives you turbo power that makes you go forward. That's basically what prayers do for you. That's what handling this as a faith journey does for you. So I like the fact that Damola has answered this the intellectual way. I would like to also answer it from the spiritual perspective, which is, first of all, as a Christian, the Bible says it is impossible to please God without faith. I know recently my home church was speaking about faith, and I was believing God for some things in that period. And it came through within like 6 days and everything. I was just wondering, so if I didn't have this challenge and I realized that I couldn't solve it myself, and I finally decided to have faith and ask God, I won't have gotten this result. So could this be why why is the Bible saying that you need faith to please God at all times? It's not every time that I'll have a challenge now, because I was used to, and I'm sure that's a lot of us, we are used to engaging faith when we have a challenge with something. I'm trusting God for a house. I'm trusting God for a car. I'm trusting God for a promotion. I'm trusting God for a breakthrough. I'm trusting God for a husband or a wife. And then we decide to have faith, and we have faith in God. But the Bible actually says it is impossible to please God. So that means in our daily transactions, in everything we do, it's like saying it is impossible to buy anything if you do not have cash. It's impossible to breathe if there's no oxygen. That's what the Bible is saying, because as Christians, we're supposed to live our lives pleasing God at all times. Whether it's happening or not, that's a different case, but that is what is expected of us. So this is the Bible saying that faith is the currency of the Christian and all of that. So that means that every single thing that you do, you ought to have faith. So if you're on this journey of purity, you ought to have faith. See, guys, a lot of people assume or think that because by God's grace, I founded the Purity Journey community, it's easy for me. I know the things I'm still saying to our leaders like Tips. I'm not going to expose myself here. But the point is, I am no different from you. Every day is a faith walk for me. In fact, there are some things that I find tempting that I realize that, wow. And I just need to go back to God. I was almost in a situation like 3 weeks ago that what kept me going? Did my body feel like being funny? Yes. Did my body feel like misbehaving? Yes. It was my faith that kept me going. So, there's a part of when you talk about faith in trusting God for something, and then faith as per your belief. It was my belief that kept me going. I can't do this and feel okay after. See, this was not a function of TPJ that I'm part of TPJ. There are people that look up to me. It wasn't that. Oh, it was at that moment. It was a decision between you do this. How do like I'm sinning against God? God is not as in I can't even imagine. I realized that I was going to feel worse. The feeling worse after doing this thing that I really wanted to do was more than that 1 minute or 2 minutes of pleasure and all. And so that's how I know that my life is not random, it's not ordinary. And that's why Damola has given us the example of people that they stay morally. I have a family friend who doesn't smoke, who doesn't drink, doesn't take any form of alcohol. And you will see him and say, oh, this person is morally okay. But it's a lie. He loves having people around. And so he buys the booze and all those things in the house. And people should just keep coming to the house every day and be drinking. But he doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke, he doesn't do all those things that you Christians have tagged as bad. So there are a lot of people that are morally upright. But why are you doing this thing? Remember, I mentioned the why. Why are you doing this? And then, like Damola said, if you don't pray, you will misbehave. You need something. That's why you can't even depend on your mind. That I've decided in my mind, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have sex. I'm not going to do this. Remember, we've also defined what purity is. Purity is the whole of you. See, that conversation of purity is the whole of you and everything that you are. That is not mine, though. That is not my head, though. This one is, you need something more than yourself.
Yeah.
More than yourself, because there are days that you will be telling, see, there are days that I have conversations with myself as people who are doing that. Why exactly am I doing this? Please, why can't I be like the random person on the road? I want to have fun, have sex, date any man I feel like dating. Let's even leave the sex part. Maybe say sex is bad, but actually date this guy is okay. There's nothing wrong with him and all of that. He's Christian. Why can't I just date him because I like him and everything? There are days I'm having those conversations with myself. And at that moment, logic cannot answer me, because if logic was to answer me, I would misbehave. At that moment is that I need something higher than myself. And that thing that is higher than myself is what steps in for me at that moment, for me to be able to get back on track. So that's why you can't depend on your moral compass. You can't depend on your mind. You can't depend. Even the Bible talks about, have you not seen some people's conscience, when it's already smeared, they now begin to do, when you see some people doing evil stuff, it's because their conscience is already smeared. And when you are talking about smeared, it's like putting an iron inside fire. When it is already hot, like it gets to the point that it's so hot that it doesn't, there's no essence again. There's nothing, so hot. And then you take that thing, you put it on, that's smearing it. Their conscience is gone. So that's why you can't depend on your mind. You need a factor higher than yourself, greater than yourself, that will keep you accountable, that will just really help you. So prayer is very good. You need prayer. You need faith. But at the same time, you need practical steps. Because the truth is, practical steps, which are the things we talk about here. What are your triggers? What are your boundaries? Those are the things that help you not to misbehave. Right? Those are things that help you not to misbehave. Because if it is the case of, now I'm born again, then none of us should be here. The moment we get born again, we should go to heaven. We don't need to be here. But there's a reason why we're still here even after being born again. Because it is a journey. It's a process. It's a journey basically. So our faith walk, our Christian walk is a journey, and you do need prayers and faith to definitely help you. While you then apply wisdom with practical steps, because while you're a spirit, you're still a human being living on earth. So there are principles that apply here, and then you find wisdom of how to ensure that those principles help your body that is here on earth to align with what your spirit wants to do. And so that's why I'll still say faith and prayers is very important, but that's not enough. You need more than that to be able to walk on this journey of purity. So now we begin to round up now, but we have just a few questions to go, and I'll take these two together at the same time. So we'll just take 3 more rounds and we'll be done. And of course, we'll try to spend shorter time talking about topics, about answering the questions, but I'm sure you're having a really great time and you're learning a whole lot. So this question says, what practical ways can I engage in to overcome bazooka moments? What practical ways can I engage in to overcome bazooka moments? So for people that are not members of the community might not know what bazooka moments are, but we'll explain that while we answer the question. And then the second question says, when a man succumbs to sexual immorality, are other non-sexual factors involved, e.g. pride, or some unfulfilled needs. So when a man or a woman succumbs to sexual immorality, is it possible that it's caused by non-sexual factors such as pride or some unfulfilled needs? And then I'll just join this too, because also on sexual immorality says, is sexual immorality the same as uncontrolled sexual desires? So Damola, I'll let you answer that fully. So did you get all the questions?
Right.
Are you over it again?
Yes, I did. I think it's also on my screen too.
Okay, all right. Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I think for the first one, so bazooka moment is essentially when you're horny and you're horny, you're really, really horny. And perhaps you're not just horny, but you're in a situation where you can gratify what your body is demanding from you at that time. To fix it, to handle it, I think there are just two things. You need an accountability partner you are vulnerable with, like number one. I think if you have that, um, um, besides you just knowing every other thing you know in scripture, that can be helpful. Also, if there's an opportunity for you to run from that spot physically, like literally, if there's an opportunity for you to do that, please do. But you can also just call someone and pour cold water on the fire that is brewing. Like literally, you just call someone and pour cold water on it, and just if mentally someone is in the same room with you, you probably will behave better, right? Also, one other practical way. This one is not overcome because usually bazooka moments push you to the limits. Is avoid things that stimulate your sexual appetite. Movies that stimulate it, music videos that stimulate it. But literally, it's a seed. Once it's planted, it will just start growing inside you. Just being as practical as possible. So when a man succumbs to sexual immorality, are other non-sexual factors involved, like pride and some other fulfilled needs? Absolutely, absolutely. It doesn't happen in isolation. I too have experienced this before. You think you can handle more than you can handle, and usually that tends towards pride. As a human being, you have deep primal need for physical affection. If you don't put structures around yourself, for instance, you will very likely misbehave, right? If the opportunity presents itself, right? And unfulfilled needs. Actually, when you're not married, they are unfulfilled needs. Literally, they are literally unfulfilled needs. Which is why God will encourage you to get married. Paul will encourage you that if you are burning, it's best to get married. I think Paul mentioned something like that.
Yes,
literally, it's a legit need. God didn't put it there by mistake. He knew exactly what he was doing. So it's an unfulfilled need. But there are also some other crazy needs that have been created by expectations you've gotten from, say, maybe high school movies and the likes. Some of them may be very unhealthy, so you might need to want to check that out. But every time, literally, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I don't know that you just be in the same room with an absolute stranger and you would literally just go. I mean, I've seen that in movies. I've probably heard of stuff like that. But I think among people in the Christian faith, it would be terribly hard, right? It's terribly hard for you to just want to go have fun with an absolute stranger. So it's not just your body that is at play. There's several other factors that play. You'd learn a lot about it during the cohort. Is sexual immorality the same as uncontrolled sexual desires? First of all, if you have uncontrolled sexual desires, there's a problem, right? And that problem will lead to sexual immorality. So there are different things. One is a problem and a trigger. The second one is what the trigger releases. But if you have uncontrolled sexual desires, speak to a therapist, speak to your pastor. I mean, I've said therapist several times. I can't emphasize how important it is. Speak to your therapist, speak to your pastor. Yes, that's my take.
All right. Thanks a lot for that, Damola. I think you did justice to those three questions. Uncontrolled sexual desires is just the first step into sexual immorality. And so you really want to look into that. Prayer does help, but please speak up, speak to somebody, speak to a trusted friend, trusted mentor, and try to trace back how you have uncontrol, because it's possible that you're exposing yourself to things that are constant triggers to you, and therefore you just have an uncontrolled appetite. And to be honest, if we're being honest, you probably just lack discipline, and there's nothing wrong. The most important thing is that you now know So how can you get disciplined? And it's not easy, right? You actually need prayers, praying to God to help you to stay disciplined, and you find out that you're able to do it. So I have a live question, which I'm going to take shortly, but somebody here has asked that most Christians would agree with biblical standards of sexual purity. Why are so many still falling prey to sexual sin? What can be done about that? You're absolutely right about the fact that most Christians agree with biblical standards, but are still falling prey. That's why talk is different from work. We all agree to it. I agree. In fact, I agree that dollar should not be 590 naira to a dollar. I agree that maybe we should change the president of some countries. I'm not mentioning names. I agree to all those things. But is that really the reality? My talking about it, is that what is going to change the price of dollar to naira? No, it's not. It's about doing the work. And so the challenge here, why it seems like a lot of Christians are falling, is the fact that a lot of us are talking the talk, but not doing the work, and doing the walk, walking the journey, doing the work that allows you to stay on the journey. But we talk about, oh yes, we agree, no sex before marriage and all of that. You see the life question I'm about to take, and I think it just, talks to exactly what this is. So please, let us not just be people who are learning these things to just honor God, but people who are learning to be ambassadors and influence our world in knowing the fact that sexual purity is actually very possible. Is it attainable? Yes. Is it hard? Yes, it is. Are there advices that are trying to help you get off track? Absolutely, yes. But it is attainable and you can absolutely do it. So today, I hope that at the end of today's session, you're not just living here, or for every point in time you've come across TPJ, either at the hangout or at the cohort or whatever it is, in whichever way you've come across TPJ, please know that our desire for you is not just for you to learn for yourself, but for you to be an ambassador. Light another person's torch, spread the light, spread the word, and help somebody. We might be a minority, but we can become a movement and we can spread the word out that sexual purity is very possible. So someone has asked us to see sexual sin and sexual temptation. With everything we've been saying, I believe we already dealt with this, and we'll just move on. So if you have any questions right now, please kindly drop your questions. And we would attend to it immediately. But in the meantime, let me take this live question that we have. And somebody has asked, is it okay to sex chat with your partner? I think this person is talking about phone sex. Is it okay to sex chat with your partner, or sexting, as some persons refer to it? Because my refusal seems like a problem. And it says it is self-righteous. It is a normal thing between adults to spice up the relationship. I like that word. It is a normal thing between adults to spice up their relationship by sexting or having phone sex. So please, this person is asking, is it wrong to do that with your partner? I'll throw that to you, Damola. What do you have to say? Obviously, this is the lady asking, and she's saying her partner.
What's that TikTok song again? Dangerous or something? Like literally, yeah. Let's just say, will your shirt get wet if you pour water on it? Literally, if you sex someone, you are stimulating yourself, and if the opportunity arises, whatever you guys did, it will do you like film, like movie. It will do you like a movie. Whatever you guys sexted about, you guys will probably get it done. The soft copy will become hard copy.
I like that. Soft copy will become hard copy.
I'm telling you, you'll be shocked. Like, this is our human brain and our bodies, like design production.
It's like sending something to the printer, and then there's a printer, and you're like, oh, how did this happen?
Why are you shocked?
So I think the question is asking your partner, to what end? Oh, it's so funny, the things people say to justify what is so wrong. How can you say it's what adults do? Like, if that's the case, please, I'm a toddler. Can you leave me as a toddler? I don't want to be an adult. And I've actually met somebody, in fact, Christian brother, sings in the choir. His voice was the first thing that captivated me when I started following the brother. And then he was telling me that, Auntie, that So he doesn't believe in sex before marriage. And I really liked him. So, and then I was young. I was listening to everything. I'm still very young, by the way. Yeah. And I was listening to everything he was saying. And then, so we now canceled sex off the table. And the next, like, okay, but you still have to come for weekends and everything. I'm like, okay, weekends and no sex, to what end? And I was like, so at least we can cuddle and everything. And all. And guess the next thing told me, that's what friends do. In my head, I'm like, that's what friends do. Wow. I cuddle with every friend that, and the things people say that sometimes you yourself be wondering that, am I okay? Maybe it's me that is antisocial. Maybe it's me that is like, how do you say? I'm like, we should be cuddling. And by the way, we're not your official yet too. So I'm sure I asked the question that cuddling, why are we cuddling? And then the question was that is what friends do. So imagine this person saying that is what adults do to spice things up. Please, I am not a spice. I'm not a soup. I'm not a spice. I don't want to be spiced up or anything like that, because that's literally setting yourself up. To what end? You stimulate things, you are waking things that are generally sleeping. And then, even songs or someone says, do not awaken, is it sleeping love or forbidden love or something? I can't remember that scripture. All of that, and then you are waking it, and then what did it? So you now drop the phone when you finish. What happens to masturbation? See, you will fulfill that desire. You will definitely fulfill it. So to what end? Remember, what is your why? And can I tell you an honest thing? If your partner, you're in a relationship with someone, and that person is having this kind of conversation with you, you want to rethink what you guys are doing. Because this is not about getting married. This is not about being in a relationship with someone. This is a function of you are choosing to honor God with your life. Honoring God with your life is not as a single or as a married person. And so, it might sound like I sound so serious sometimes and I'm old school, but honestly, this is how I process these things. So this is a guy, I'm a lady. If you want sex, come out and say that you want sex. Don't be twisting my head and let's have a conversation about it. So if you're actually now saying that's what adults do, is how to spice up things and you are standing by it, I'm very worried and concerned, because if I marry you, so let's even assume that I'm able to, we were able to navigate it, we don't have sex until we now get married. Remember that the Bible clearly states the man is the head of the woman. Is this the kind of head that you want, that will justify what is negative, what is bad, for the pleasure he wants to derive from it? Is this the kind of head that you want? And that's why we go back to when you're choosing a partner and all of that, you want to pick for the right reasons. Is this the kind of father you want for your children? Let's even leave children. Is this the kind of head you want? Because, excuse me, miss, when it says let's go left, you cannot say we can't go. You're actually now disobeying scriptures, because it says you should submit. And that's why there are challenges. And my husband is saying this, I can't do that and everything. No, you submitted to his authority when you decided to marry him. So if you've decided to submit to the authority of Mr. Goat, you become Mrs. Goat. You cannot come argue and now say, no, I want to be lion. My father is Lion of Judah. No, you are Mrs. Goat forever. And then, different things that happen, you're not happy and all of that. Are you leading this person astray? Because we women, we know how we have our spice, we know how to press those buttons. But are you using the influence you have over the fact that this man loves you to manipulate him? Because it's just one day, like I said, it is a responsible son of.
Mm-hmm. Hey guys. Hello, Tony.
Yeah, I think doing his network just
Oh, I see. Give her a second. I think she should be back soon. Can someone text them? Thank you. Mm. Hey guys, please just give it a bit. We'll be back shortly. Tony's network just has, slightly. So, your tea, Tony.
Yes,
Yeah. Okay. You've reached out, right?
yes, yes.
Okay.
I think a couple of people got locked out.
Oh, I see. A serious conversation.
Yes.
Man. You just trigger yourself for no reason. And once you get overexcited, like it's literally difficult for you to turn back. It's another
Okay.
one.
Okay. 3
All right, she's back.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
Yes. Um, I apologize about that. Obviously, I think because I think quite a number of people got locked out, not just me. So I guess we are still having some, some situations that happened the way it happened last night, but we're almost done here. Yes, all right. So I think I passed the point across as regards we just being very clear on the things that are important to us when we're in a relationship and when some conversations are happening and all of that, you want to address those things and take your stand. Don't be afraid to take your stand as regards who you are, what you stand for. And always remember that it doesn't mean the fact that you're taking a stand does not mean that you are perfect. So it's not because I'm all perfect and all of that is why I'm taking this stand and I'm saying no, is that this is what I desire to do. I desire to be on this journey of sexual purity. So right now, I know that what you're saying about we sexting and it being for an adult is wrong. Therefore, I stand against it. So please don't let anybody guilt trip you because she actually used the word he says that she's being self-righteous. That's guilt tripping. See, he's gaslighting you. That's so absolutely wrong. That's gaslighting. And also, don't let anybody make you feel you're not being self-righteous. You know that it's wrong. That's why you're bringing it up. And adults don't do that. If that's the case, please go back to being a toddler. So please, let's be very clear, bold about our stand, and God will help us. So we've come to an end of tonight's session. It's been an amazing time. I've really had a great time. Damola, I hope you've had a great time. To our entire audience,
Yeah, awesome.
I hope that you've also really had a great time.
Yeah. Yeah,
I hope you've all had a great time, especially to our live audience, and especially for those who will be catching up. Please tell people about this video and the last one we had. Tell people about it. Let's share. Let's these are real questions that people are asking and wondering, and they are getting the narrative from the wrong places. But we've discussed it here. Let's share it and let others benefit. Just a couple of announcements. I just got a question now. I don't know if we still have the time to take this question, but if we can quickly take it in the next 1 minute. But before then, we have our next cohort coming up on the 22nd of October. Our cohorts are 10 days. Our courts are usually 10 days group study where we talk about everything sexual purity. Why are we doing this? How is it possible? Why are we here? What are the things that are required to help us to help us? What are the things that are required to help us to stay on this journey? Is purity a journey? What makes it a journey? Why is it not a destination? All these questions are answered. And one thing we are sure that God always helps us with is the fact that people live with a mindset shift, knowing that they can do this. It is attainable. Another thing that we've heard a lot of people say to us is the fact that I never knew that there were other people like me who thought this was possible. So come to a place whereby you are finding like minds like you who believe in sexual purity and they want to do this the right way, and also most importantly also know that they cannot be judged. So in fact, because the way these sessions run is that there are podcasts you listen to every morning, and then we have conversations in the evening, either on Zoom or WhatsApp, depending on the platform you chose as when you were when you were registering. So so really it's not even in the podcast, because the podcast is out there. Anybody can listen to the podcast, but it's actually not in the podcast. It's in the conversations where people are sharing real life experiences of what their challenges have been, and others are sharing real life experiences of the things they've done, and also with the facilitators sharing their own journey. Nobody is perfect. We're a group of people who believe this is attainable, and as God is constantly helping us to do this, we are also helping others to be able to achieve it. So please, I encourage you to attend our next cohort. It's our last cohort for this year, 2021. You want to attend it. The next one comes up in January. It starts on the 22nd of October, and we always end with a party where you get to meet everybody that is in the cohort, and fantastic, wonderful relationships are formed from just being in this group. So our next course starts on 22nd of October. The link is right in the chat box. It's also been dropped down here for you to click and register for the course. This Saturday, that's in 4 days' time, is our first ever hangout. We've had a number of virtual hangouts, as in every course always has a hangout, and sometimes we will just do community hangouts. This is our 9th course, so that tells you that we've had at least 9 virtual hangouts, but this is our first physical hangout, and it's happening in Lagos. It's actually happening in the Lekki part of Lagos, and we encourage you to join. Come and have fun. Come and meet people. Let's talk. Let's let our hair. Lagos can be stressful, and yes, I know other people have been asking. We're currently planning the one for Ibadan as well. That will come up shortly, and we'll let you know when. And if you want to host, if you're a member of the commission, you want to host a TPJ hangout where you are, probably we've had a Canada hangout. It was virtual. There was a smaller group that was physical. You can have your London hangout, have your Canada hangout. You can have it. Somebody has also asked about Ilorin. Yes, because we have quite a number of people from that area as well. Whatever it is, we are open to us having physical hangouts. So please show up on Saturday, 9th of October at 9 a.m. at the venue that's been stated, which is Lekki Conservation Center, and let's have fun going on the longest canopy walk in Africa. So I'll take this question even as we shut down at this moment. So the question says, all right, the question says, what is the best way to tell your partner that they don't smell so great? How do you tell your partner that they don't smell so great?
Just tell them.
Sorry, Damola, go on.
And if the person's esteem is fine, just tell the person that you need to do better than this.
Yes.
And I mean it as affectionately as, and couch it as perhaps, I think this could also be affecting maybe you at work. Maybe you can do this. You can even buy it for him.
Yes. Please, why are you assuming that it's a him? Why not a her?
It's usually guys, though, because guys don't, do the hygiene well.
Oh,
typically.
so I like that. I like the fact that a guy is the one saying this, that a lot of guys don't pay attention to their hygiene, but it actually happens to ladies. And the truth is, when you are with someone and the person is your friend and you care about the person, is it a difficult conversation to have? Yes, it's actually a difficult conversation to have. So I understand where you're coming from, asking that, how do you say to your partner? I also want to believe that there are times when you guys have heart-to-heart talks where you talk to yourself and just say it as it is. And also you be intelligent about the way you communicate this. There's something called the sandwich approach, whereby you tell the person, when you want to give that kind of feedback, I know it's not so good feedback, you tell the person all the wonderful things that the person is doing and how you care and all of that. You look nice and everything, I'm so tripped. Then you bring in that feedback about, okay, so I think sometimes maybe, I don't know, maybe do you want to shave? Is it that you're not paying much attention? Because sometimes actually maybe you worked the entire day and all of that. Like, how the smell is peculiar and how you've noticed it. Put it in there, then you end the conversation with another good feedback. So it's called the sandwich approach. At the end of the day, the person understands that you've not called him or her to castigate the person or make the person feel less of less of him or of herself. I can bet you that no normal person knows that they don't smell good and they're going up and down, not spraying the entire atmosphere. They actually don't know. So you want to bring it to their attention. And for it might be a medical challenge. So that's why you bring the attention and you're supportive all the way. But if the person is not a dirty person, sorry, I can't help you. That's a different conversation, but that's actually a joke. So yes, you want to help the person and just talk about it. So someone says, buy a perfume and give to the person. This thing is very dicey. If you buy me a perfume and give me a perfume, I'm not going to think that it's because I'm smelling new. Actually, if you buy me a really lovely perfume, I'm going to say thank you because I love perfume. So that might not work all the time. But yeah, I do know people who have done that. They know that this person doesn't smell too great and they buy the person a perfume. And so it's like you've invested in that area of challenge. So when you're even talking about it, you have a right to talk about it compared to guy, what's going on, or lady, what's going on, and everything. So I hope we've been able to help you with that. We've come to the end of tonight's conversation. It's been beautiful. It's been amazing. Thank you for always showing up. And for those who catch up the replay, thank you for always coming back here to watch, for subscribing, for sharing, for telling someone about TPJ. Thank you very much. My name is Oluwatoyin Akiemi. I am here on behalf of every other person, actually the leadership of TPJ. Thank you for just, helping this ministry thrive and helping us to achieve all the things that we achieve. Our next session will be on the 17th, on the 18th of October, every 2 weeks. We basically meet every other week. So next week's Tuesday, we're not going to be meeting, which is the 12th. We're going to be meeting upper Tuesday, which is the 19th of October. So thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for staying all through. Catch the replay, tell somebody about this, share the link, and see you in 2 weeks. God bless you and have an amazing day. Thank you.
God bless you. This was fun. Bye-bye.
And thank you, Damola, for joining us. It was such an amazing time. Thank you so much.
You too.
See you on Saturday at the Hangout. See you.